We test a lot of different positions at MyVeloFit, so we picked up a Kickr Bike to help with the process. We thought as part of getting our Kickr Bike set up that we'd follow Wahoo's fit process to see how it turns out and take you along for the ride.
Welcome to MyVeloFit, the world's first online AI-powered bike fit. Built by bike fitters for all riders.
The Wahoo Kickr Bike is the most popular smart bike on the MyVeloFit platform. So today we're gonna walk through setting up our very own Kickr Bike. So obviously at MyVeloFit we have our very own system for fitting your bike, but Wahoo also has their system for setting up your new Kickr Bike. So we're gonna follow their setup, see how far it gets us, and then finish things off with MyVeloFit. Future Justin here. While we were recording the video and setting up the Kickr Bike, we actually got a support email from a customer looking to do the exact same thing. So hopefully this is helpful for the rest of you that are asking the same question. Okay, create bike fit. Do you have a book? Like a hardback book or something? Yellow pages? Create bike fit, inseam, steering with feet, shoulder width apart. Tweet. Okay, riding position. Riding position will affect your suggested reach measurements. Race, endurance, relaxed. What do we think, endurance? No, let's do race. Slam that stem, get fitted. Okay, so saddle height, 14.1. Setback, 9.5. Reach, 8.1. Stack, 1.3. Crank length, 175. Incorrect. Okay, let's do this. We start with standover height, C. Oh, down, okay, C. Saddle height, 14.1. 14, that's very hard to get precise. Setback, 9.5. Oh, that's a big one. Reach, 8.1. Oh wow, this is like almost maxed out here on the reach. And stack, 1.3. And crank length, 175. All right, let's see how it fits. Results are in saddle, raised saddle 5 millimeters, that feels about right. Fore aft will be assessed after saddle height. Raise handlebars 10 millimeters and reduce handlebar reach by 10 millimeters. That all feels about right to me. Let's dig a bit deeper here. Yeah, okay, we're definitely gonna reduce the reach first and we'll get the saddle height up and then we'll see how to go from there. Yeah, saddle height up, definitely. Okay, great, onward. Here we go. Reach. Okay, so from the Wahoo Fit, we raised the saddle height 5 millimeters and I reduced the reach by 10 millimeters. And now looking at these results, it's kind of what's expected. Saddle height is, and saddle position overall is actually really close, so we were only about 5 mil off. And then the reach and the stack height of the front end still looks like it's got quite a bit to go. Still wants me to raise the handlebar 10 mil and reduce reach by 10 mil. So let's have a peek. Yep, definitely still looks long. We got 32-degree back angle. It's pretty aggressive. I am not that flexible, which makes sense because they didn't ask me anything about my height as a rider. So let's keep going. So hopefully this is the last round. Saddle height in range, fantastic. Fore aft, a little bit on the fore side, but feels good. Handlebar height is on the low end, but we're there, and it's definitely feeling a lot better too. And the reach is also bang on. So yeah, I think we shortened the reach by 3 centimeters, 30 mils, and increased the stack height by 20 mil as well. So pretty significant adjustment on the front end, but the back end, the saddle height position was actually really close, which makes sense. I guess the Wahoo setup guide starts with your inseam, but doesn't ask anything about your height. So it makes sense a little bit that your saddle height is pretty close, but your handlebars might not be so accurate. Anyway, here we are. All right, so we finished up setting up the Kickr Bike, and I thought I'd give some of my final thoughts. Overall, actually, the saddle height was actually quite impressive, and the saddle setback, it got me really close to where I wanted to be. I did have to end up bringing the saddle up a bit, which makes sense, but within 5 mil was actually pretty good. Moving on to the front end was a bit more of a challenge. The handlebar reach was really quite excessive. So I ended up in a really long position, and the stack height also ended up being a little bit low. So getting the front end into a place that was like reasonable took quite a bit of time. We ended up with over 3 centimeters of adjustment on reach and just over 2 of stack height. One of the stranger outputs from the Wahoo process was the recommended crank length. For me, it recommended 175 millimeter cranks, which is quite long. I've never ridden cranks that long. In fact, I'm actually currently riding the opposite end of the spectrum at 165 millimeters. Presumably they made that recommendation based on my inseam, which is really the only information we gave as part of the process, but that seems pretty long, so we're not quite sure what the justification is for that. In general, we're finding a lot of riders benefit from a shorter crank. So overall, if anything, defaulting to a shorter recommendation than a longer run is probably going to benefit more riders. And that's maybe something they could seek to improve in the future. So overall, it got us in the ballpark on the saddle position, which is a great place to start, but the front end really needed quite a bit of work. When we switched over to MyVeloFit, it really helped dial me into my normal position, bringing the handlebar reach and stack much closer to what I'd be used to on my outside bike, and really got me in a position that I'd be quite happy to run on trainer rides kind of moving forward.